Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
Morning, Jeremy. Hi, everyone.
We're trying to define You're a millennial, all right?
I can be whatever you want me to be this morning, Jeremy. I'll happily be a millennial.
All right. Well, listen, Ore joins us because he's currently in the production of Pretty Woman, playing Happy Man. How's it going?
It's been amazing. It has been so much fun. It's the musical that based on the movie that everybody loves. And do you know what? I found out last week that Julia Roberts is actually in the country right now. So there's a very good chance that she might come down and watch the show because while we were in rehearsal, Bryan Adams just decided to rock up because for anybody who doesn't know, the musical has brand new music written by the legendary songwriter Jim Vallance and Bryan Adams. So at one point during rehearsals, it might have actually been our last day, Bryan Adams just decided to turn up.
Wow.
and a whole bunch of cast who had been nervous about opening the show all of a sudden were like, okay, I think Birmingham's going to be fine because we performed in front of actual Bryan Adams. So if Julia comes, we'll be well set.
So Happy Man is the narrator role, is it? So if I think about the film, is Happy Man's not in the movie? That's That's an invention of the musical.
Yes, well, they've created a role. It's kind of a dual role, so you get bang for your buck because you know I'm very expensive, Jeremy. There is two roles, Happy Man and Mr. Thompson. So for anybody who watched the movie will know Mr. Thompson was the hotel manager, and my character kind of plays the two, and maybe pops up in a few other parts of the show as well. But he does actually feature in the movie, very very small part, but they've broadened it out to be this kind of narrator, and he's kind of Vivian, who's played by Amber Davis, who's absolutely outstanding. He's kind of her fairy godfather on the Hollywood Boulevard. He kind of knows everybody, knows the shakes, knows the movement of the place, and kind of changes her story. The idea is that it's all about making your dreams come true. So I get to make dreams come true on Hollywood Boulevard in Hull, and anywhere else that we're going to be next year, whether it's Manchester, Liverpool, York, Northampton, Southampton, we're going to be everywhere. So I really hope everybody can come and watch the show because it was so successful on the West End, and this is the first ever UK tour of it. So it's been amazing to feel that love and affection and excitement that people get from coming and watch the theatre.
And then I read you've started rehearsing Christmas Panto, and I'm trying to work out how you can do both at the same time.
I'm still working it out myself, Jeremy. I definitely have a couple of different people in my mind right now, let alone playing two in Pretty Woman. So yes, we're currently rehearsing for pantomime in Northampton. So for anyone who's in the Midlands, in the East Midlands in particular, please come and watch us at the Royal and Derngate Theatre from December the 8th. Yes, so I was always going to do panto, and thankfully I was able to sandwich that in between a couple of runs of Pretty Woman. So I'm all over the place, but I'm very happy doing it. Just if I start twitching this morning, just give me a nudge.
I will. Listen, you're among friends. It's fine. I want to ask you about this story that we saw this week. It's a production of Hamilton, and a fight broke out, and we don't quite know. I think there might have been arrests or something. God only knows what's going on. It's in Manchester.
Yeah.
Now, ongoing issues, because we had The Bodyguard where there was some fighting and some aggro. And the issue seems to be that these things are advertised as come and sing along. But if I'm watching a musical and you're singing, for example, and the person sitting behind me pipes up and decides to join in, I'm not happy about that. So
would you lamp them though, Jeremy?
I wouldn't. I would definitely not lamp them. No, I wouldn't. But I think, what's your view on it?
I mean, it's sadly not the first time we're hearing about it. Like you said, people would think that going to watch the theatre in Manchester equals a fight breaking out. It's obviously not the case. These are very, very small examples, but naturally they're going to get built up and written about in the newspapers. It's a shame because the article that's in the Independent goes on to say that they asked about 1,500 people, and 30% of the staff at theatres said that they have been in an altercation or have experienced an altercation that resulted in the police getting called out. Wow. It happened while I was in York last year, I think. Twice in a week, the police came. It's just balmy. I really don't understand how. I think I do understand. I think it's alcohol. I think it's because the great British public, as beautiful as they are, sometimes can't control themselves. And so naturally, the environment where you're allowed to have fun, the music is obviously wonderful. Sometimes things can spill over a little bit. It's a shame, because naturally for the performers and anybody involved in the production, you've got to stop the show. You've got to sort these people out. You've got to take them away. And then hopefully it will resume. But yeah, and I remember Hamilton was so exciting that it was launching on tour in the UK again for the first time in Manchester. People who were going to be going would have been absolutely buzzing. So the idea that it got paused so that the police could come in is a bit of a damp squib.
Well, but we need it, James. We've got to have a rule here. If you're going to see a musical, don't sing yourself, right? Especially if you're sitting behind me.
Rarely, I'm with you, Jeremy.
Yeah,
I do. What musicals have managed to do, I think, successfully, is where they've realised that this is a problem. They've asked people not to sing along, and then they have a sing-along number at the end where it's kind of the goodbyes, you're doing all your standing ovations, it's all wonderful. Everybody has a song-along, they say, come on, sing along with us. That's great, that's fine, then you can leave the place having but you're absolutely right. During the performance, let the performers do their thing. Well, I don't want to hear you. I didn't come to see your bingo wings or hear you warbling out of tunes. No.
Yeah, but Poppy, one of the problems has been that people have advertised musicals as there will be singing and dancing in the aisles. Now, that to me is an invitation to go and do my own karaoke.
So I disagree with both of you.
Well, that makes you wrong.
Brown Girls Do It Too, the podcast was adapted for the stage. We're in Soho Theatre, and there are a few numbers in there, and we absolutely encourage the audience.
But that's different. You're encouraging the audience. That's great. Lovely. Fantastic.
But they would...
What numbers are they?
I mean, they were Bollywood numbers. You wouldn't...
Yeah, but of course, what do you mean you wouldn't have...
I'm sorry.
That's great.
Sorry, Jeremy.
Shade thrown. Of course I know them.
Do you?
No.
OK.
But that's brilliant, because you're inviting it. I think what we're talking about here is that you've got an incredible performer or a stage performance where you've arguably got some of the best performers in the world. They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
And then somebody who is desperately out of tune is warbling it next to you behind you. Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're both saying that if you've not been invited to sing, don't sing.
Yeah, if you've been invited to sing, please do.
Listen, it's against my religion to agree with James on anything, so I'm now going to agree with you.
But Poppy now agrees with me.
Before we move on, just to say, Ore is in Pretty Woman the musical. What? Hang on, James. This is important. Stay with us, but don't forget Ore on stage. Is Brown Girls Do It Too on stage at the moment?
It was last year at Soho Theatre.
Ore, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say that in Pretty Woman, it's definitely what James is saying. Towards the end, there is an encouragement that you can sing at the end of the show, but it is difficult to police. I think the bigger issue, actually, on a day-to-day level, is mobile phones. Is people either answering mobile phones in the theatre, filming the show on their mobile phones, or actually, in one case, there was the Manchester Derby was on. And somebody on stage saw that it was a fella was actually just watching the match.
Oh,
so that that doesn't make the news, but it's definitely just as annoying.
I think. Well, we had the first call on this show was for people who go to musicals to be breathalyzed on the way in. Andy West said.
Whoa.
Oh, interesting.
I was on a ghost train in Disneyland, and the guy.
Were you?
Yeah, years ago with my kids. The guy in the cart in front decides to film the whole thing on a massive iPad. So why would he do that?
Yeah.
You know,